Sometimes the truth or the thing that we're looking for is so obvious that we don't even see it, despite the fact it's in front of our face or has been with us the entire time. And I'm kind of getting that moment with you, Taurus, almost like kind of that Wizard of Oz kind of ending where you had the thing you needed all along to get what you want or to be who you wanted to be. And it feels like there is this sort of recognition or remembrance that is very, very important to who you are, and it feels very personal. So I don't think that this is necessarily about somebody else. Perhaps it is someone who's close to you having some really big breakthrough or epiphany. But Taurus, I really get the sense that you are kind of having this major realignment with yourself. And the images that actually came through while I was meditating on your energy, funny enough, are the same exact images I got before in a previous reading for you. And I don't remember when I did it. I feel like it might have even been over a year ago now, but I just remember it so vividly where there was this house. It was more like a cottage that was kind of living close to the land, very agrarian, very, very green, lots of growth, lots of abundance, lots of life around it. And it just felt very, very cozy and also very much like in your element, very much that earth element, if you will. And I feel like there may be some sort of connection to herbalism, to green magic, to connecting to earth-based practices. That could be something that's really helpful or healing for you, or something that you've been doing for some time. For others of you, this could quite literally be about living closer to the earth. And the only kind of difference I felt this time was that I don't think you're doing this alone anymore. It feels like there are other people who are with you. There are other people there. I didn't see it. It was just kind of a felt sense from this image. So definitely comment down below how this is applying to your life. If you've had some desire to be a healer, especially like an herbalist, to connect with green magic or the earth with nature, living closer that way, there's something there that feels, again, very like Taurean, that you are connecting to. I did pull a couple of animal cards here as well, and we will get into the tarot in just a moment. But I do want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. And if you've been following around for some time and haven't done so already, I really invite you to hit that that bell and subscribe button, and the like button too. That way you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. So the animal cards I got for you, Taurus, we do have the beaver and the dragon. And when I saw the beaver, my jaw kind of dropped, because it was literally like I just had this image of home, of you having this cottage or this space to yourself. And to me, the beaver often is connected to homes, to the den, if you will. And so there is something here that feels very relevant to your sense of home, to whether that's your family, your ancestors, what home means to you on kind of a more emotional or spiritual level, feeling your roots. I feel like all of these things are very important to you right now. And oftentimes when the beaver comes up, there is like a long-term project or a big commitment that is involved with some sort of task or maybe even relationship in your life. And so this is kind of a card that is affirming you to commit to something and to work kind of in the long term. And I really do feel like there could be something with community building here as well, making community kind of part of your family, something kind of like a found family, if you will. That feels really, really important too, especially kind of in the sort of political climate we are in, particularly in the United States, but other parts of the world too are kind of experiencing this as well. It's very, very important to have community and to kind of have those connections, particularly as Pluto continues to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. We do also have Jupiter in the sign of Cancer later this year as well, and despite all these major shifts that are going on, I talked a lot about this in the 2025 horoscope blog on my website. There is kind of healing and hope and renewal that can come through connection. So that's kind of how we are supposed to be navigating through this right now. And with Beaver, it does feel like having people who are close to home, I literally just heard that in my head, which is sort of interesting. People who are close to home, whether that's your community, whether that's your family, maybe something is hitting close to home as well, something kind of personal. But it feels like it's all part of this major reignition with the dragon, because I do think that the dragon is kind of the epitome of inner fire, and finding that Agni, if you will, that spiritual flame, that spiritual light. And the dragon corresponds with the solar plexus chakra, which is all about willpower, determination, as well as mental clarity. And so I feel like you are getting very clear on something. And again, I'm just looking at this eye, and it feels like you are seeing something, you are recognizing something. I feel like you've had visions your whole life of this next chapter, and maybe you've had visions of living close to the land, or working with certain groups of people. That feels very very relevant right now. Like, that's something that's coming back in a very strong way. And it's so interesting that this is kind of, again, repeating images, repeating messages for this collective. If you were here for that first reading, definitely comment down below, because it feels like this is important for a lot of you. And anything else that's popping out at me? I did notice at the bottom of the animal deck there is the lizard, which kind of reminded me of the dragon card here, even sort of similar colorations and patterns, which is kind of interesting. But when I think of lizard, I really do think of someone who's actually very sensitive. And this card in the description in the book literally says it may be time to pull away from the lights and sounds of the big city, and sort of retreat, go back to that inner artist, that inner creative, finding your spirit, finding your heart. That could literally be something you are doing, because I do feel like you're kind of moving your energy elsewhere, whether you are literally moving into a new home or manifesting that, or maybe you're just going on some sort of retreat or trip. Connecting closer to nature just feels really, really important, and kind of helps you live more in alignment with your sensitivities and kind of your growing intuition and magic. Lizards are also very magical and have a lot of kind of folklore around them in that respect too. So I do want to pull some tarot cards for you now, Taurus. I'm really, really curious to see how this is all connecting. These are general readings, so just keep that in mind. Not all of these messages are going to be meant for you. It's up to your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies to your own life and what should be left behind for somebody else. Maybe even pause this video, take a moment to really connect with your energy and to really feel centered, so you can better discern what is meant for you at this time versus what should be left behind for somebody else. If you do want a reading with me, now is actually a really great time to do that. I am running an eclipse sale on my website through March, so you can get 20% off all of my services using the code ECLIPSE20 at checkout. Just make sure that you apply that coupon. And this is just a really great time to kind of redirect and realign your energy and get a sense of what's happening, because March of 2025 has two eclipses. We have two retrograde planets. We have Neptune moving into a new sign for the first time in over 10 years. There's a lot of movement and shift that is happening, as well as a lot of review. So that could all be really kind of significant. And again, just makes it a really good time to kind of get that clarity. Anything else for Taurus? What are the messages? Okay. Dropping these cards here. Wow. So the first card that came out was Death. And this tells me that there has been some sort of major ending. And maybe you even surprised yourself, Taurus, because what I almost got here, especially with the Ace of Cups in reverse, it feels like for some of you this could have been the end of a relationship, but it feels more personal than that. It feels like you got what you wanted, and either you don't want it anymore, you realize it wasn't right for you, or you wanted something different. And it feels like you kind of surprised yourself here. And I'm hearing and feeling some of you wanted something because you thought it would fill a void, or you thought it would fulfill something for you that you didn't believe that you could have. Kind of an example of that, maybe you always wanted to be an artist, but instead you got a corporate job and you were really focused on getting a promotion. And you worked hard, you manifested it, you got that promotion, but after a while, it started to feel empty. And then there was this sort of remembering, I don't even really want this. I wanted this because I thought it would give me access to something else, maybe a raise, more money. Maybe you thought it would give you more time to work on the things that you wanted to do, to make art, but it just ended up draining you, or it wasn't really the most direct way to actually align with your heart's desire. And that's sort of the thing, like, it might surprise you, but it's also very obvious. Like, that was sort of the message I got at the very beginning here. And your heart has always known what is true. That's also a message I'm getting as well. And again, for some of you, this could be about a relationship. Interesting that the card in the present is the Magician, which is all about manifestation, figuring out what it is that you want, making plans, putting things into action, getting things together. And again, some of you are literally working with magic, with manifestation, with herbs. It literally feels like reconnecting with your magic again. I am getting, for some of you, maybe with Death and the Ace of Cups, you also lost something that was meaningful, but it wasn't all that your life was meant to be. Maybe you did have something that you really loved, and you thought it was going to kind of be the end, happily ever after, but something changed. Something shifted. And I think part of that is that you are changing and shifting and evolving and growing into a new version of yourself, or the next phase of yourself. Especially with like the lizard and the dragon, it's like you might have been playing very small, and now there's something bigger or more free that you want. Ironically, though, I am sort of hearing like you don't necessarily want things to be bigger. You might even want a smaller life, or kind of a more comfortable life. And there's nothing wrong with that either. And in fact, sometimes when you let go of that intense need to have purpose or fame, that's when it can really come in. Or recognition. Your desires are changing. I'm curious to hear like how this is shifting for you, where you're kind of falling as you're listening to this. Because it will be different for each of you as a general reading. We have the Chariot as well. You are definitely making some moves, Taurus. And it feels like very bold action. Like you are the one who is being proactive here. You are the force to be reckoned with here. Tell me more about this Chariot. 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands with the Chariot. There is some very fast movement that's happening, and like it might even feel a little overwhelming. You might kind of feel like you're running an obstacle course right now because there's so much going on. But I feel like now is the time to buckle in, Taurus, and to really make some moves. Okay? I really do feel like you're going after something. There is some sort of opportunity, something that you have manifested, something that just kind of happens out of the blue, but you do have to act quickly. And for some of you, this could quite literally represent a move. Again, because the Chariot is in motion, the Eight of Wands often indicates travel, so there could be some sort of trip here, some sort of journey, which is quite interesting. And I mean, even though this is a timeless reading, we do have a Virgo eclipse in the month of March. So the next full moon at the time of this recording is going to indicate some major transition or change, perhaps involving travel, higher education. Maybe you are learning skills, whether that's in a school or learning things about spirituality. That could also be part of that too. There's something that is really changing and very well could be bringing some endings to a previous chapter, but I do feel like there is some fast movements that are also taking place. Wow. Yep, the Fool. You are going for something that is totally new and may even be out of your comfort zone. You are doing something you've never done before. And you might even be doing something that's never been done before. That's also something I kind of just got as a message, something I heard and felt. You're kind of revolutionizing something almost. And that might be literally like you're doing something that no one has ever done before, or maybe no one in your family has ever done before, or in your your social groups, your social circles. Tell me more about this Fool. Very sudden and unexpected changes here, and it's almost like you're not being detoured. Whatever ended in your life, Taurus, it's not like something fell away or crumbled. It was actually necessary for the most immediate or direct path towards this new chapter, what it is that you've been wanting secretly or maybe even consciously. There is a major course correct that is going on right now. Tell me about this Fool. Tell me about this Fool. Judgment. Holy shit. There really is this like spiritual awakening or something very significant here that is happening. Some people do look at Judgment as kind of the resurrection, the revival of something from the past, but it is like a major life review. And it's almost like, I don't think this is literal for all of you by any means, or even most of you, but I see death and judgment together almost like a near-death experience, where you had something that happened to you and it caused you to totally look at your life in a different way. Your values and priorities have radically shifted. Maybe that is because of what's going on politically right now. That could very well be creating some value shifts. I know I'm feeling that personally. And I think a lot of people are too. And there might be something with like a mission, a cause, some form of activism as well. Mutual aid, working together with people, community support. And I feel like somehow you're bringing perhaps some sort of magic or herbalism or witchcraft or some sort of skill that you have into that too. But it's like, it is a new beginning, it is a new chapter, but it also makes total sense. And it's like, it's fitting you like a glove, whatever this new thing that you are stepping into, that you are putting on. This new role. Wow. I'm also getting the sense here, Taurus, whatever move that you are making, there will either be people who follow you, who follow in your footsteps, or who follow suit, or your path is just going to naturally cross with those who are moving in a similar direction as you. Because I do feel like there is something here with community as well, that feels very significant. And you're finding your people. Anything else for Taurus? Anything else for Taurus? The Queen of Swords. So this card actually did flip up just a moment ago, and it came out again. So there is some need to have a very clear conversation or get very clear with yourself. The Queen of Swords kind of represents the watery part of air and is very much about kind of that clarity between emotions and intellect. And sometimes our emotions can color our thoughts can color our emotions, and just being very kind of cognizant of that is important right now. But I do feel like you are being very clear and very firm and very concise in your words. I'm also getting Libra energy with this card as well. It could be signifying the Libra full moon that we will have in April of 2025. That could be a very significant time period for you, Taurus. And that could even be bringing a change about in your work or your routines or health. Queen of Swords and King of Pentacles. This is one of your indicator cards, Taurus. Could also signify Virgo or Capricorn, but this is particularly a card I think of with your energy and associate with you. And I do feel like April, your season, April to May, whether you are watching this in 2025 or whenever this reaches you, it feels like that time period is going to be very, very significant. You're going to be making some very big decisions, and honestly feels like you are stepping up either into a leadership role or kind of facilitating things or stepping on your own, having more domain or agency in your life. And you are cutting through the bullshit. You're kind of just going after what it is that you want in a very direct way with these. I think those might be all the messages for you right now, Taurus. I hope that this was helpful. It seems like there is a lot of affirming messages here, like go for it, yes, do this thing. Things will kind of fall into place. Especially if you're being called to another place, there may be a very good reason as to why that is happening. So kind of pay attention to that. If you're feeling called to a specific location, to travel, to move, there could be something that you are meant to kind of experience there, either from the people, the land, the energy, some sort of experience that is kind of integral to your growth, to your life story. So really, really interesting energy. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you've made it this far. Comment down below if you haven't done that. And even give this sort of dragon emoji or even the beaver emoji, like kind of building this home, building this foundation, finding that inner fire. You are making a home, not just for yourself, but for others. That's just something I got as well. Anyways, Taurus, I hope this found you well. I'm sending lots of good energy your way. Again, I have a sale on my website if you'd like a reading with me. I will see you next time, sending lots of love and blessings your way. Take care, Taurus.